Here we are at the circuit of Jerez for the Spanish F4 Championship once again, and we look to the track as we get ready for racing action. It is going to be pole position for Jan Periowski, the driver second in the championship, will find himself with the head start over our championship leader of Thomas Straven, who finds himself on the second row of the grid, down in fourth position. However, a big gap in the championship currently finds Straven in the lead. Will that gap come down? We'll have to wait and see what happens after 30 minutes of racing plus one lap of action. I'm Kai Piccini and I'll be taking you through the commentary for this weekend. And down on the circuit, it's our eyes and ears once again. Alex is down there with the latest from what is going on. Obviously a quick turnaround from the previous race, but down on the grid, everything's getting ready. What should we expect from this race, Alex? Because obviously a long way to go with 30 minutes of racing action.
Hi Kai, again, it feels like it's been just a few minutes since we last spoke, and for you and I it has been just a few minutes, but for these guys on track, for these drivers from Formula 4 Spanish Championship, it has been not one, not two, but 3 months since the last round. It's been a whirl for them, and it always takes a little bit of time to get used back into the car, so that's the challenge for this weekend. They don't have a lot of time to get used again to racing speeds. They have this round here in Jerez. They have to race then in Valencia in around a month, and then we finish in Barcelona in a couple of months. So they don't have the luxury of saying, you know, we get used to it and we regain the speed through a couple of rounds. No, they have to perform right here and right now. Jan Periowski has performed. Yes, it is true that Thomas Straven is very far in the championship, over 100 points, 101 to be precise. But it's also true that we have a total of 9 races. 9 races is definitely more than 101 points up for grabs. So, you know, yes, it's easy for Straven to think of the championship as a foregone conclusion. He should not get too confident, because rivals are there to pick up any mistake that you make, and any zero is a big thing. So he will probably have to think of being a little bit more cautious today, since he's not starting from those first few positions. He'll have to recover a little bit, while the rivals, you know, Jan Periowski, the first among them, will have to make sure that he gets that victory, if he can do it, or why not, maybe Ian Eggmans, the super rookie who has been impressing us all throughout the season and who has every chance to becoming a new winner of the championship also.
Yeah, as you mentioned, obviously a long time since Spanish F4 has last raced, but we forget to mention that there has been testing here at Jerez just a couple of weeks ago where Spanish F4 took place in, so this track will be fresh in the drivers' minds, but there's new faces and new names to the championship for this round. We have G4 Racing, which now find themselves on the grid, as well as the likes of Mikel Blascos, Rogerio Grotta and Lewis Werrell, a big name in the British and European karting scene. Not the best qualifying he would have been hoping for, down in 30th, but what should we be expecting from these new teams and new drivers, Alex, as obviously coming in late in the season once again, it's going to be tricky?
Well, obviously, coming late into the season is always a challenge for these teams and for these drivers as well. You've mentioned that testing that took place a couple of weeks ago. This is always useful, but it is never enough, let's say. Then again, any driver, you ask them if they want to have a little bit of extra testing time, they would say yes every single time, even if it's enough. But for new teams, I think it's more about getting that mileage, getting that speed, getting that experience. Of course, with the Carras brothers, the objectives are also different from those drivers who are fighting to make a name for themselves and keep climbing up the ranks. For those drivers that come from the karting scene, that's different, because those drivers are not necessarily here to get results now, but they are here to bolster the chances for next year, because they need to get that experience. They'll still be considered technically rookies next season, and as rookies next season, but with a little bit more experience, that could be useful for them. So that's definitely, I think, what they're looking at for today and for tomorrow, and if they continue for the next couple of rounds. It's all about turning as many laps as possible, making mistakes if they have to make mistakes, but more than anything, learning the machine, and that's what will give them results in the future if they stay.
course. Thank you very much, Alex, once again. And we will hear from you later once again. But as you mentioned, strong learning curve. That's what it's all about here in Spanish F4. And we've seen it time and time again over the course of this season. Drivers are now out of their grid box and onto their first formation lap as we will get ready for 30 minutes plus 1 lap of racing action. Spanish F4 is back, and it is back in fashion. I'm sure it will definitely be a very, very hectic race, as many drivers will be wanting to prove that they should be at the front of the championship. As we mentioned, it is over 100 points that separates Thomas Stralvin and Jan Periowski at the front of the championship. Periowski, with there still being 3 rounds left, has a lot of work to do if he wants to get this championship lead in his favour. But Thomas Stralvin, it's all damage limitation. Even if he's going to be losing points to his competitors, he just wants to be losing as minimal points as possible. So as the drivers make their way into the final sector, they will continue to try and get as much heat into the tyres as possible to make sure that their car is within the optimal operating window come the start of this race. But there it is, the Griffin core machine of... Well, sorry, not the Griffin core machine. That is going to be Jan Periowski out in front. In second, as we mentioned, the Belgian superstar, the rookie that has been on a mission, Ian Eichmans. Very, very strong in his karting career out in Europe. One of the biggest karting names in his time when he was competing out there in the karting scene. Takes the step up to Spanish F4 and has just been proving that he belongs here race after race. 4th in the championship right now. Only 6 points separating him and René Lammers for 3rd in the championship, so definitely possible. And all up for grabs there between the two MP Motorsport teammates. And with 3 more rounds to settle it, anyone could find themselves there. Pulling up to the grid now. We just keep an eye on that front end. Periowski and Eichmans lock out the front row of the grid. Ian Eichmans, obviously a strong motorsport background. His family, his dad owns a karting team as well. His dad, Wim Eichmans, also being a very historical figure in the world of motorsport racing himself. So motorsport was in the blood for the Belgian, and showing that he is the right man to choose and the right one to compete in this field. But as the back of the grid now line up, all 34 cars find themselves on the grid. A lot of cars on the grid, a lot of racing to commence as green flag flies, and it's all eyes on the gantry as we get ready for racing. 5 lights on, 5 lights out. Here we go. Brilliant start. Oh, and it's a stall on the grid. Periowski doesn't get away. As a big incident in the background as a lot of debris is floating away. It looks like it was just a front wing that was caught there. But Periowski's dead car on the grid was collected by another competitor. We'll just hope that everyone involved in that incident was okay. As racing continues on right now, Jan Periowski didn't get away from the line, and he will unfortunately retire from this race, I would suspect, after that contact on the start-finish straight. But up at the front end, yep, unsurprisingly, safety car has been deployed as René Lammers, with a start of dreams. Initially, all the attention went to René Lammers as we saw him dart to that inside line as he pulled away very quickly. There is the very broken car of Jan Periowski, and it looks like it was Miguel Costa involved in that one as well. And that is brilliant to see. We love to see that. Here is a replay. Miguel Costa was getting out of the car there. Periowski just doesn't get away from the line. But what a start it was there from René Lammers. Oh, that's so unfortunate. As 2 cars side by side, nowhere to go for Miguel Costa, but into the rear end of Jan Periowski. Jan Periowski would have been holding onto the steering wheel in hope that no one collected his car. And it's the worst outcome possible as Miguel Costa is able to unfortunately walk away from that one. Sorry, fortunately walk away from that one after an unfortunate incident. Obviously, the drivers will not go over the start-finish straight. Both drivers walking away. That is the best scene you can see. And that's the best outcome possible from that incident. As we walk away from that one, all the cars will filter through the pit lane as there is going to be a clean-up job on the start-finish straight right now. We get ready for what is going to be a big clean-up job as we saw debris go flying left and right after the contact between Miguel Costa and Jan Pediovski. But it is always very reassuring to see both of those drivers walk away from the scene of the incident. As pulling through we go. All team personnel are ready in the pit lane. We're just keeping an eye to see if anyone does pull into a pit box with any sort of damage or issue just yet. Obviously, we hope that there's no issues. And pulling out there is the number 6 at the back of the field, filtering in through. As the safety car will join onto the front end. And it will be René Lammers. We were talking about the championship battle just before between these two drivers of René Lammers and Ian Eichmans. They are fighting for third position in the championship with only 6 points separating them. The way that things stand, if René Lammers takes home the win, he would extend that championship gap between him and Eichmans by 13 points. If Ian Eichmans gets the race win and René Lammers finishes in second, Eichmans would now be third in the championship by just 1 point. So a lot at stake here, bragging rights and also championship position at the forefront of this fight. So what can Ian Eichmans do to utilize the restart of this safety car? What can he do to try and pounce onto the back of the Dutch driver? Obviously, both teammates, so that is that unwritten rule of not too harsh racing between the two teammates, because the last thing you want to happen is crash with your teammate. But the Griffin Core and Campos racing cars of Pediovski and Costa will be cleared from the track there. A big shout out to all of the Orange Army, which are in attendance week in, week out. We wouldn't be able to go racing without them. So a big thank you to the Orange Army out on the circuit, as the marshals do a brilliant job every single time we go racing, as they have cleared up this incident very quickly in a timely manner. Will we go through the pit lane once again, or will we go down the home straight? If the marshals are still on the circuit, it will be the pit lane that is offered. If not, the home straight might be used once again, and it looks like we will peel into the pit lane again. Yes, we do. A difficult moment here for all the drivers. Obviously, it's all a mental game at this point, as with all these cars being slowed down to such a slow pace, you want to be within full racing pace. You want to be in that mindset, that flow state, as some may describe it as, where you're just solely focused on the racing action at hand. In these moments behind a safety car, or if there's a red flag, your mind can start to wander, and that's the last thing you want as a racing driver, because you want to 100% be focused on the task at hand and the racing which you have in front of you. So it is as much of a mental game as racing action at the time being, as it's who can stay within that right mental state to make sure that they are ready whenever the safety car pulls into the pit lane and they are ready for racing action to commence once again. Opportunism is going to be one of the key words over the course of this weekend. Jerez, a very tight and twisty circuit, so overtaking opportunities are going to be scarce. Whenever an opportunity arises, these drivers need to do their best to take advantage of it and try and gain positions where they can. That's one driver stopped there. That looks like that might be the number 5 down at the back of the grid. That can't be the number 5, but it is the number 6 of Lewis Werrell. Unfortunately, Lewis Werrell stopped at the pit lane there. He gets going again, though, so not quite sure what the issue was there for Werrell. Doesn't make a huge difference to his positioning as he was already on the back of the field. Lewis Werrell, obviously one of the youngest drivers on the grid. A lot of success out in European and British karting. This weekend being his first taste of real Formula action, as he has never raced in any other Formula cars other than this Spanish F4 right here. So what is Lewis Werrell able to do on debut? It's not the greatest start he would have been hoping for. It was a rough qualifying for him, starting down in 30th position. He finds himself in 32nd, but still a lot of time to improve and get used to what is a completely different beast to the karts that he is used to. As we still make our way around the circuit under safety car, we just wait for the safety car lights to go off. And when will that time come? We'll have to wait and see. As we make our way towards the final couple of corners, the safety car has departed, the lights are off, and that means that we are ready for racing action. At the front, it's Lammers from Eichmann. As foot flat to the floor, here we go. The number 9 regains racing speed as we still have one more corner to go. But René Lammers kicks it under racing action. Here we go. Ian Eichmann's under a lot of pressure as he wasn't able to get the jump that he would have been hoping for. Frenchman of Remo Franco is all over the rear end of Eichmann's right now. Franco, not new to the Spanish F4 series, so is he able to put that experience under his belt and use it to his advantage as well? There's the number 46 of Nathan Ty as he's currently trying to fend off El Fagali in behind. El Fagali, the driver that competed in the last round of the Euro Cup 3 campaign at the Spa de Francorchamps. So let's see if he's able to do anything with a switch up of machinery and circuit as well. He finds himself in 7th right now, so a good position for the DriveX machine. But we circulate round, keep an eye there on the number 46 of the Road and Motorsport of Nathan Ty. In the background, a little bit of battling going on as we see a couple of drivers going side by side. A bit of racing action down the inside, lock up as well. Just trying to hold on as the 37, the 77 and the 7 all go side by side. That's Fiorentino, Petrovic, and also what looked like the number 1, of Hugo Schwarzer. So Schwarzer just about holding on, but Fiorentino, a heart in the mouth moment as he locked up on the inside line. But Petrovic able to make his way through as Schwarzer drops down 2. Racing still rages on though. Through the final chicane we go, side by side in the background as racing still continues to eke forward. As we can see the number 41 and the 91 going for blows. Looks like Suslov was just able to get past Campos and a big lock-up into the final corner by one of the Rodin machines. Noah Montero gets past Schaufler and down the inside. That's going to be a pretty textbook move there. No problems at all for Noah Montero as he gets back past Schaufler. Nothing that Schaufler could have done there to stop Montero. As Montero found the inside line, hit the brakes and finds himself in front now. But Scheffler has Trapper all over the back now. That DriveX machine in 10th, looking to pick up some extra points if the opportunity arises to get down that inside line. Or the outside if he's going to opt for that. René Lammers just extending his lead currently to Ian Eichmann. Renault Franco keeping his nose in the battle as well, as he tucks tight to the rear end of that MP Motorsport machine. Now it is currently an MP123. Well, technically an MP123. It's 2 MP Motorsport cars out in front, then a KCL MP Motorsport machine of Renault Franco. And you might be sitting at home wondering, well, why does Ian Eichmanns have a red car if he's racing in the MP Motorsport machine? Now, I'll tell you just afterwards, but this was the great battle between Schwarzer, Petrovic, and Fiorentino as on the switchback to pick up 2. Now, what a move that was for Fiorentino as he picked that outside line, caught the switch to the inside, and with Schwarzer heading off the road, Petrovic heading wide as well, those 2 cars are off. And talking about a car that's off, that's the number 19 that finds themselves off the circuit, as unfortunately Reba retires from the race and what looked like beached in the gravel trap. Unfortunately, I don't think that Reba will be able to recover that Griffin Core car onto the circuit. Safety car is out, and that does mean that it is the end of Reba's race. So safety car for the second time this race has been deployed, and racing action will be nulled, and we will slow down to a much reduced pace once again. They're unfortunately stepping out of the car and not continuing on anymore. Will be the number 19 of Reba. Very, very unfortunate to see so early on in the race as well. But as we mentioned before, you may be sitting at home watching this race. All of the MP Motorsport cars are orange, apart from Ian Eichmanns. Now, Ian Eichmanns has a red livery, which is for the Richard Mill Young Talent Academy. And you'll see that plastered over the sides of the car, as you see him go through picture right now. Going through. Yeah, so as mentioned before, Ian Eichmanns in October of last year won the Richard Mill Young Talent Academy shootout, which meant that he was awarded a fully paid seat and fully funded race in Spanish F4 for this season. So Ian Eichmanns not paying a single penny for this season, and showing why that money was put to good use, and also showing why he was the winner of the Richard Mill Young Talent Academy shootout. As he's still waiting for his shootout for the race lead, as he finds himself in second still, not able to take advantage of that last safety car restart from René Lammers. Maybe this time around he'll be able to get the jump on his competitor and championship rival. Weaving side to side of the drivers right now, still just trying to keep warmth and heat in the tyres, as we'll get ready for racing action as soon as the safety car pulls in. But whilst the safety car is still out, down on the circuit, we still have Alex there with the latest. Alex, what's going down there from your perspective?
Well, Kai, I have maybe I would say 3 comments to make. Let's start from the most urgent to the least urgent. First of all, you might see the light has changed a little bit on the main straight, and I want to preface this by saying I don't think we will see the rain, but it is getting cloudier and we have expectation of rain at some point this afternoon. So, you know, just for those who like to cross their fingers or to do the rain dances, well, maybe that's the time now, because, again, we have a bit cloudier right now situation in the main straight. Most importantly, that will mean a little bit of decreasing temperatures until the end of the race. So that's going to be a change for the drivers. Secondly, I was listening to you, Kai, talking about Ian Eichmanns, and I have to remind all our audience as well that this shootout happened here in Jerez last year. So that must bring very good memories to the Belgian drivers, who has been one of the most impressive drivers, I think, this season, showing that being a rookie does not exclude you from being able to fight for wins. He still needs to get that win, but he has been fighting for them. And maybe a bit less urgent, but still remarkable, just how happy we are that that incident at the start has ended up with both drivers safe and sound out of their cars. They are always very scary when we see a car stalled on the grid. And we were seeing them from the pit lane, and those moments are always those that stop your breathing for a little while until you see that everyone's safe. So again, fortunately, everyone's safe out of the car.
Of course, very happy to see Jan Periowski and Miguel Costa both walk away from that incident. But as you mentioned, Alex, and you did stress, Ian Eichmans was the one to win the Richard Mille Young Talent Academy shootout around this circuit. So he's just fallen short of a race win so far this season. But will this be the race that we see at Alex? Obviously, still a long way to go and a lot can happen.
It could be, certainly. I mean, of course, we have to see exactly how many minutes we'll have after the safety car leaves the track. The race is obviously getting closer and closer to the end, but we know that the differences will be pretty much zero when the race is restarted, and these drivers could have a chance until the end. So let's see if Ian Eichmans can do it. We know that he's quick, we know he's brave, and I say if we have another new winner this year here in Formula 4 Spanish Championship, I think that's great news, because we've seen a lot of Thomas Strauben, so a little bit more variety wouldn't hurt anyone.
Yeah, Alex, thank you very much for your time and your insights, as well as, once again, adding a little bit of a flair to the broadcast. We always love to hear Alex's voice over here at the Spanish F4 team, as just adds that dynamic, always has something interesting to add to the broadcast as well. As he mentioned, Ian Eichmans won that shootout around here, but can he win the shootout for the race victory? He'll weave side to side, get his warmth into the tyres, and will this be the lap that we see the safety car peel off into the pit lane? Big moment in time. Ian Eichmans, fourth in the championship right now, still contending with René Lammers for third in the championship. Obviously, as we said, Eichmans just falling short of that race victory so far. René Lammers, on the other hand, he's already had 2 victories in his favour, so he could pick up a third. But very interesting to see that the championship title fight, sorry, not title fight, but fight for third position is so close between them, even with René Lammers having an extra 2 wins over Ian Eichmans. Eichmans does beat him in the majority of other categories, though, as he has the same amount of top 5 finishes, but more podiums. And I think that's what it is that separates the 2 drivers. Nothing separates them now, though, as the safety car is let go, and we look for the move from Lammers. As soon as his foot goes to the floor, we restart with racing action. Side to side to side he weaves, but when will it be his foot that goes down to the floor? It'll be out to the final corner as we eke towards the line, and we will not go racing just yet. Lammers really backing up the pack here, and now we go. Lammers straight foot flat to the floor as he completely catches Ian Eichmans off guard, and now Eichmans under a world of pressure from Renault Franco. Franco to the outside of turn 1. On the inside, Strauben's going to try and pick it up, as Nathan Tye's going to have to go defensive from Johan Cotter. In behind us, Cotter tries to pick up the move. Was he able to get that done there? Yes, he was. Cotter gains a position over Tye. So Tye drops down into what is going to be 7th position. Sorry, that was El Fagali making his way through. So El Fagali gets his way past Tye. Tye drops down, but in second, somehow, with some miracle, Eichmans has just about fended off Renault Franco for the time being. But Franco now being the driver under pressure. Here's our championship leader, the driver astray by 101 points. Back down the inside, Tye responds as he'll get the move done. And he just forces his competitor wide, but he'll get the position indeed. Losing an extra 2 there is El Fagali, but Nathan Tye up into 6th. And this is what the Brit is known for. He was 11th in the championship last year, currently finds himself 5th, but even all the way through his karting career, he was known for his ruthless style of racing, and that's what's made him so successful all the way through his racing rankings, and he's just at the start of his career. This driver is definitely going to go far as he puts his racecraft out on display. Nathan Tye just climbing up the order. He would have been hoping to start a little bit higher up, but what can he do in that Rotor machine? In the background, big lockup, and very close to contact as well, as Fiorentino nearly goes into the rear end of his DriveX teammate of Trapper in the number 48. But the clock cycling down, and we now find ourselves under 10 minutes of racing action. In the background, a little bit of action is unfolding right now. A lockup, oh, and a spin in the final corner. That's the number 39 that peels to the inside line of Panetta for the TC Racing machine. Yellow flags on the main straight. Will we be able to recover that car without another safety car? I'm sure that's what we are all hoping for from home and also at the circuit as well. Yellow flags is still out on the main straight. No safety car called just yet. So I think we will just about avoid a safety car period, which is exactly what we want to hear, as that car will be pushed back into the clear and into the pit lane as well. Green flag out on the circuit. Incident cleared. And a full track of racing action. René Lammers, for what was a brilliant safety car restart, his second phase hasn't been as strong, as he finds himself under pressure from Ian Eichmans, as he's just able to catch lap by lap, 10th by 10th, onto the rear end of that number 9. Now here's a replay. What is that a replay of? Oh, this was the incident in the background. Ooh, big spin. And a big moment there for what was looking like one of the Campos racing machines. I think that was the number 2 of Canton. Or was that going to be Hugo Schwarzer? Couldn't quite catch the car number on that one. But one driver having a moment out in front. René Lammers just about holding on right now, but Ian Eichmann's looking ever so closer. And looking at this battle start to brew, it just feels like it's going to be a moment of time and a question of time before this battle really starts to heat up and unfold. But Renault Franco just keeping an eye on this battle, on our championship leader of Thomas Straven, still in 4th, a nice amount of points to add to his championship lead. Obviously losing out on points to the other drivers of Lammers and Ian Eichmans, but his closest competitor of Jan Periowski, with that stall and retirement off the line, means that he's out of contention. There is Hugo Schwarzer pulling back out of the pit lane after what I could only guess was a wing change after that little incident that we saw on the replay earlier on. So Hugo Schwarzer picks up a few changes in the pit box and finds himself back onto the race circuit. Just quite a margin off the back of the grid. Now looking at the midfield as well. Nathan Ty and 6th under quite a bit of pressure right now from Noah Montero. Let's have a look what happened here in the background. This is going to be why we saw that retirement on the home straight, is it? No, just a very clean and textbook move there from the number 48. Sorry, the number 41 of Suslov, and retiring in the pit lane. That was the number 39 of Panetta that we saw pull over on the home straight and will be wheeled back into his pit box as well. So the driver's still circulating around, we keep an eye on. Up at the front end. We'll see what happens here. René Lammers out in front. So Lammers just about holding on right now. So Ian Eichmans in second. Sorry, I do apologize for a mistake that I've made on the commentary. I did call Hudson Schwarzer earlier on, Hugo Schwarzer. Obviously Hugo Schwarzer, another notable name in motorsport. And a mistake on my end, so I do apologize for the mix-up between the two drivers. So Hudson Schwarzer was the driver that pulled into the pit lane and got a fix in the pit box as he'll rejoin the race, just obviously very far off the back of the grid. Actually, we do have notes that Hudson Schwarzer is back into the pit lane as well. So we keep an eye on the Red Bull Junior drivers right now making our way around the circuit. There is the number 39. Unfortunately, Panetta, that pulled into the pit lane. Sorry, didn't pull into the pit lane, but pulled over on the pit straight. And as we had our attention pulled away, Ian Eichmann's in the lead of the race. What's happened to René Lammers? Lammers is in the pit lane. But what has happened to the number 9? René Lammers is in the pits with what I can only guess is an issue for the number 9. Penalty drive-through is the word on the streets. Alex Garcia gives us the latest. And Lammers has pulled into the pit lane to serve a drive-through penalty for a jump start. The number 9, who got a blistering start off the grid, which is what promoted him into the race lead, is penalized all of a sudden and drops all the way down into 22nd position. René Lammers tumbles from his pedestal and Ian Eichmann is looking set for his first race victory of the season. This could be an absolute dream here for Eichmann. The Belgian out in front could pick up his first race win of the season on the same track that he won the Richard Mille Young Talent Academy shootout. He could win his first race of his Spanish F4 campaign, which is what he won as a result of that competition. And wouldn't that just be a fairy tale win down the inside? That's going to be a late dive there from Thomas Stravin, as Stravin seemingly impatient to make his way past Renault Franco, as that was a very, very late dive on the inside line. Luckily, Franco was able to respond very, very quickly and get himself off that inside line to avoid any contact. But Thomas Stravin proving his intentions are very, very clear, that he wants to get into that top 2 spot and get as many points back as possible. But even bigger story than Eichmann's getting his first win, Lammers pulling into the pit lane will drop his championship order as well, which means that Ian Eichmann will now find himself not only 3rd, but also 2nd in the championship. So Ian Eichmann, in just one race, goes from 4th in the championship with no race wins to, in about 2 minutes time, will be a race winner, 2nd in the championship, and set up very nicely for the last 2 rounds of the season. Jan Piriowski, he was 2nd in the championship. Retirement for him, issue at the start. René Lammers, he was 3rd in the championship. Issue at the start, drive-through penalty. Ian Eichmann, he was 4th in the championship, but now he's 2nd. What a dream start to the weekend at Jerez it was here for Ian Eichmann, as the Belgian driver will round the final corner and cross the line to start the final lap of this race. And it's just 15 more corners to go, and I'm sure he will be counting them down in his head as reality will start to hit and the emotions will start to bubble up for Ian Eichmann to take home his first race win in the Spanish F4 Championship. A driver that I have personally raced alongside in the past at the Eichmann's Grand Prix team. It's great to see Ian Eichmann going on to bigger and better things and proving his worth in the Spanish F4 Championship. In the background, though, it's not as easy for 2nd position. The deal's not done just yet. Here's Thomas Stravin, so late on the inside. He sells the dummy to perfection. Renault Franco, though, he's straight back on the attack on the switchback as he gets a much better drive out of the corner around the outside of turn 12. It's not going to be easy. He's shown to the rumble strip on the outside, but he's still going to stick his car there. Let's keep an eye on this one. Thomas Straubing, defensive on the inside, and it's Franco to the outside. Can he get the drive all the way round? It's a little bit of a tank slapper, but he still finds himself there with the MP Motorsport machine. Let's keep an eye out in the background. Here comes Cota. Cota on the inside. Franco down. Franco down another position as he falls down to what is now 4th position. But Thomas Straubing pulling off what has to be the greatest overtake of the race there as he completely caught Renault Franco off guard, sold him the dummy, got to the inside line, and talking about the line, it's the checkered flag that flies for Ian Eichmann. His first race win of the season, and one that takes him up to 2nd in the championship standings. Wow, what a race that was. And it was all in the dying embers where it kicked off. Ian Eichmann takes home a race win under his belt and a promotion to 2nd in the championship at the track where it all started for him. His Spanish F4 campaign was awarded off a race victory at this circuit, and he now takes home his first victory of the season. And what a way to do it in style. That battle on the last few corners really caught me off guard, with Thomas Straubing just able to get himself into 2nd position after a brilliant maneuver on Renault Franco. And it was the driver who managed to just about pick up 2nd position, Juan Cota, for his home race. It was his 18th birthday yesterday, and a brilliant time to celebrate not only his birthday, but also a podium result in his first race here at Jerez. So happy birthday and congratulations to Juan Cota on a 3rd place finish. But Thomas Straubing jumps up into 2nd after a very dramatic last lap. And I'm sure one that Ian Eichmann will remember for a while was this race. The number 4 sees number 1 for the first time. As we peel off into the pit lane, it would be great if we could catch up with Ian Eichmann after this race to just see what this means to him, as I'm sure the emotions will be running very, very high at the time of us talking right now. Into the pit lane we come, and here's our podium sitter. Thomas Straubing in 2nd, Juan Cota in 3rd, after a last-minute dive to pick up that place. Renault Franco will be left feeling a little bit hurt. But we wait for the man of the moment. Where is the red Richard Mille machine? Here it is, Ian Eichmann. For the first time this season, we say it, pulls in to the number 1 spot, a spot that he's not unfamiliar with over his racing career, but one new to him in the Spanish F4 Championship. As the celebrations can now start here for Eichmann, as just look at how much that means there to the driver, as I'm sure he will go over and embrace his team and family as well. Big moment for Eichmann, big moment for MP Motorsport. As there it is, the family embrace from Ian Eichmann and his parents as well. Wim Eichmann's there, the first to go over and congratulate his son on a brilliant race. Well done. His sister Avengi Eichmann's there as well, as all the family can endure this one and soak up the emotions of his first race win. It means a lot to him, and you can just see that right there. We'll see if Alex can catch a word with our race winner once he gets his helmet off and all his gear sorted. But wow, a race full of drama. 2 big retirements and two big names that were falling down the order. Piryovsky and Lammers. Lammers hit with a penalty. Piryovsky not getting away off the line. And that's what took them out of racing contention, inevitably. Two safety cars were what we had to endure over the course of the race. And although Ian Eichmanns wasn't able to take advantage of the safety car restart, those both went in the favour of René Lammers. The luck and fortune eventually worked out in his favour, as it's going to be difficult to wipe that smile off the face of Ian Eichmanns, as he is down there now ready in Parc Ferme, as Alex will now have a catch-up with our race winner.
Newest winner in Formula 4 Spanish Championship, Ian Eichmanns. It's been a long time coming, this one, hasn't it?
Yeah, after finishing second, I don't know how many races, we finally got it. So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm happy for all the team. Yeah, it's been exactly 1 year since I started my Formula car racing career. So yeah, I'm really happy to win, yeah.
And what a way to close that circle, especially 1 year after that shootout with Richard Mille, which sent you here to the Formula 4 Spanish Championship. It's a way to celebrate that first year. Not too bad for first year, isn't it?
No, I think this track is doing me something good, because every time I come here, I do something special. So yeah, I just can't thank the team enough. All-road management and Richard Mille to give me this massive opportunity. And of course, my mom, dad, my sister, they're all here. So yeah, it's pretty nice. And then of all, I want to thank my sponsors as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
I want to take this chance to ask you, because this applies to today, but it applies to the whole season. Racing in Formula 4 Spanish Championship and being successful and being quick is not easy. What's the secret for being up there? Because you've been there from day one, basically.
I think it's just really important to stay consistent, always being up there. And then, yeah, like I said this morning to my dad, I just have to keep being in front, and then at one point the win will come. And yeah, it finally came. So yeah, really happy.
So that's the first. We have 8 more races ahead this year. How many do we have for until the end of the year?
I will not say anything. I don't want to jinx it, so won't say anything and just do my best every race, and then see race by race where I finish.
All right, whatever comes then. Time to enjoy it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
A very happy race winner here with Ian Eichmanns, who has been a great driver this year, who has been one of the main protagonists of the 2025 season. And now P2 in the championship, just behind his countryman Thomas Schrauben, the great dominator of the 2025 season. Not too shabby, if I say so myself.
Yeah, and a big race for Eichmanns indeed. We were saying it was going to happen eventually down on the grid, Alex. Obviously, there was a lot of talk there for Eichmanns to take home that race win. We'll have a look at a few of the replays here from this race, and this is keeping an eye on Ian Eichmanns, on what he was able to do on his way through, as a few drivers getting involved in battles all the way throughout the field, as it was definitely an action-packed one. Schaufler was getting his, definitely getting in and dirty and with the action as well. As we can see, the two Red Bull Junior drivers going side by side there in the background. Multiple drivers squabbling for position all the way throughout the order, as the mid-pack was one that you did not want to miss. And unfortunately, a big spin round there, which is not what you want to be seeing at all for any driver that finishes down the order. So an issue there. Lewis Werrell recovered up to 25th in the order. But this was the move of the race. Thomas Schrauben, take a bow. This shows why he is our championship leader, as so late under braking, he cuts to that inside line. Such a daring move to catch what was our driver finishing a little bit further down the order. Actually, Renault Franco dropped down to 11th, so further down than he would have been hoping for. Nathan Ty was the driver that got promoted up into 4th. as all the drivers are now there in the cool-down room, getting ready for the podium. And a podium that was very well deserved from all of the drivers. Eichmann his first win, and it wasn't an easy one at all. Thomas Straubing with a brilliant move to get himself second. And Juan Cota, the driver who just turned 18 yesterday. What a way to get his 18th birthday celebrations. And Alex just gets his way, gets himself in the camera as well. Maybe we should get Alex on the podium at one of these races. Get Alex in one of the Spanish F4 cars, see what he's able to do out there on the circuit. Does a great job behind the microphone, maybe behind the wheel, as he peeks his head in with all the drivers in the briefing room as well, as they have a little bit of a debrief from the race and ready for the podium celebrations. Now, a weekend of momentum, that's what we need to remember. Eichmann's has a lot of momentum around this circuit. As he mentioned, it must be the track, because every time he's at the circuit of Jerez, he seems to do something well, in the words of Ian Eichmann. So will he be able to walk away with a second race victory tomorrow? We'll have to wait and see. But two big names fell from their seats, and that was Jan Pediovsky, who wasn't able to get away from the line. It was a stall on the line and a retirement. And René Lammers, a jump start from him, meant that he got a drive-through penalty, and the race win was taken out of his grasp and handed to Ian Eichmann. At the end of the day, though, these are the things that you have to compete with as a racing driver, and misfortune does come your way sometimes. As the drivers still just getting ready. A little bit of a cool down there from Juan Cota. As we can see, Eichmann and Straubing having a good chat. Juan Cota, though, just taking it all in, having a little bit of a break. And you don't blame him after what was a long 30-minute race. That would have been very enduring for the drivers and takes out a lot on them as well. For the rookie podium, our rookie winner was Ian Eichmann. And our rookie second and third was Noah Montero and Schaufler as well. So just a recap for anyone that did not catch that. Our race podium is going to be Ian Eichmann, Thomas Straubing and Juan Cota. For the rookie podium, it's going to be Ian Eichmann, Noah Montero and Schaufler. Obviously, Nicolas Schaufler getting involved in a lot of action over the course of that race, as he seemed to be a name that popped up quite often when it came to the battles on the circuit, especially in the mid-pack. But from what evolved battles in the mid-pack, he was able to cut his way forward up to 6th position. So as the drivers now make their way over towards the podium, celebrations will very shortly commence. And one driver that unfortunately just fell short was Renaud Franco. He was in 2nd place right until the dying ends. But on the podium here, we will see our driver in 3rd position of Juan Cota make his way out onto 3rd on the podium. A great race there from Juan Cota. Driver who's just turned 18. Thomas Straubing, our championship leader, will make his way over to 2nd. And for the first time of this season, Ian Eichmann punches the air in elation as he will head onto the top step of the podium. And we will wait for the Belgian national anthem, as the team trophy will just be handed out first to a representative from the MP Motorsport team. Out there for 3rd position, and that is going to be the trophy awarded to Juan Cota, who on the final corner was able to get the better of his teammate of Renaud Franco. A dive down the inside after taking advantage of the battle between Straubing and Franco. The 2nd place trophy goes the way of Thomas Straubing, who gets another 18 points towards his championship lead, inevitably extending that lead over what is now Ian Eichmann's second in the championship, first race win in his Spanish F4 campaign. As all the trophies have now been handed out to the drivers, we will get ready for what is the Belgian national anthem. That was the Belgian national anthem there for our race winner of Ian Eichmann's, and a few quick photos will be taken with the team trophy and all of our top three, as well as we get ready for the celebration to start. It's a quick dash there from the MP Motorsport representative, but the champagne will fly as the drivers will celebrate what was a very dramatic race here for the first race in Jerez. And all the drivers now make their way off the podium. Ian Eichmann's one win today. Can he make it two over the course of the weekend here at Jerez? But that will conclude the first race here at the Circuit of Jerez for the Spanish F4 Championship. Eichmann's on top, Piryavsky on pole, who fell very, very quickly after a stall on the line. Will it be redemption day tomorrow for him as Thomas Straubing just extends his championship lead once again? But there's still so much more to happen. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for race 2 and 3 of the Spanish F4 Championship here at the Circuit of Jerez.